view. Yeah.
So, how are you?
I'm doing all right.
Now, obviously, things, we can't sugarcoat it. Things have been tough. And I know the number one thing for you is you're a teacher and these are your guys. I mean, these are your students. And it means so much. I think people need to understand, and we can talk about all the coaches, but when those if guys go out and struggle, that hurts for you because you're living and dying with every single pitch.
Yeah, it's not easy. You want your 13 guys to go out there and perform and pitch up to their capabilities and be relaxed, cool, calm, and collected. And sometimes when you don't see that, you feel it. You feel it for each guy who's going out there and maybe not producing the way they want to produce. And you're always trying to find a way to help everybody. The one thing that keeps me sane, I guess, is the process and understanding that it is a process with a lot of young pitchers. But the grind and the work to find ways to get guys better, and then you got to get them to believe in some change sometimes and understand that what's good for them in the big picture thinking. And big picture thinking is something that we need right now. We need to know, like in 17, part of 17 was if you don't pitch inside, you don't use your changeup, you're going to struggle here at the big league level. And it's getting these guys to understand that, yes, I want to win as many games as we possibly can here, but we're also building for the future. We're building this organization and this pitching staff for the future. And that future is being able to be a pitcher and not a thrower. And our guys understand that. I mean, look, man, we got a bunch of hardworking guys that care about what they're out doing each and every day. It's, hopefully we can get out there and, find some luck and find that drive and that determination to stick to the process and think of big picture thinking.
It's one thing that when you tell guys at the end of the year, you say, hey, we want you to work on X, Y, and Z in the offseason. Or when you're in spring training and you're working on a changeup, you're working on a slider. We can now say a sweeper, whatever you're working on. How tough is it to make change, though, during the season?
Yeah, it's really tough because especially for me, when you have young pitchers, you want them to be out there being able to breathe and being able to be relaxed. You don't want to be able to think about mechanics or think about how I'm going to make my pitch better. You want them to understand how to pitch the game. The scouting reports, the opposing hitter. You're going out there and it's putting the game plan together to pitch the game. But if you're out there and you're thinking about where your arm is and where your leg, I think it's just a really hard thing to accomplish. Yeah. When you go searching for problems, you're going to find problems, and trying to get that mindset to be, hey, look, you're good enough to be here. You have to execute your pitches. You look at the hitter's weaknesses and do I have a strength to cover that weakness, or do I got to go strength on strength? And the good pitchers have that ability. That's why I love the changeup so much. Not saying you got to overthrow it. That's why I love fastball command so much. Not saying you got to overthrow it, but when you use that fastball, is it useful? Getting more balls in play so starters can go deeper in games. More balls in play, starters going deeper in the games. It gets relievers out to the mound fresh. So it's a combination of everything that, we're trying to accomplish to help each and every individual. Those starters go out there. We got a great performance last night from Mason Miller. Gave us a chance to win the ball game. It just didn't happen. And the more times, our starters can go out there and get into the sixth, really, really fight to get into the sixth inning right now. The better the relievers will be. And in return, in my opinion, the more opportunities for wins we're going to have.
So, we grew up in a similar era when we were pitching, and everything was off your fastball. Now we have guys throw harder than ever before, but they throw their fastball less than ever before. So you think about you coming up and then in your career professionally, did you ever think we'd see a time where guys would throw more breaking balls on average than they would fastballs?
No, but what in my opinion, what happens is, guys are searching for velocity, and when they find velocity, sometimes there's an overthrow. And if you look at command, guys just aren't commanding the fastball, in my opinion. Back in our day, we depended on it, so we practiced it and we worked on our command. Now the game has kind of shifted to that kind of swing and miss stuff, and that breaking ball shows up a little bit more. But if you don't have enough fastball command and they're taking your breaking ball and you're not throwing enough strikes, we see the walks go up. So you still have to find a way to command that fastball when you throw it. I'm not saying, back in our day, we threw it probably 60 to 70% of the time. And nowadays it's right around 50, but that 50% still needs to be commanded when it's thrown. And when you're trying to throw a little bit harder, or when somebody who doesn't throw, they need max effort level to get high velocity, they're just not going to command it as well. What you see is the walk rate go up a little bit. And guys, why throw a fastball where I don't know where it's going when I can just spin one down at the bottom of the zone? And you see a lot of that. And, the guys that throw 95 to 100, they got late breaking balls. The guys that throw 92 to 95, they got to command the ball. And the more they command the ball, or when they use their fastball, I really believe the better they're going to be.
Well, and I think about Mason Miller going last night. Obviously, he's a very unique talent, and he's also very unique on what happened with him being as getting into being adult, being diagnosed with type 1 diabetes, that he learned to pitch at probably 89 to 92, right around in that range, where, as you said, you got to throw strikes. Like, if you don't throw strikes, you're going to get hammered and you'll never get to any level. So he learned to pitch with all of his pitches, then diagnosed, then they help him with everything you have to do with a diabetic. And next thing you know, here he is, gains weight, velocity, gains weight, velocity. How much do you credit learning to pitch and then now getting 100? He already knew how to pitch, so now it's like, I just throw harder, but I already know how to do it.
Yeah, I know. I think if you take those elite velocity guys and that are elite the pitchers, and we know who they are around the league, if you deduct 4 miles an hour off them, they still can pitch and they still can compete and they can still get outs. They command the strike zone with their fastball. They got good breaking balls that they can go down and away with, and they can subtract, and they're unpredictable, and they have that grit. I looked at, watched Mason Miller over his 3 games, and he's got grit. I can tell you that. This guy wants the baseball. He wants to fight. He wants to find a way to get you out. Simple math last night, 100 pitches, 54 strikes. That's not, always ideal to just throw 54% strikes, but he had that grit. He made pitches when he had to. He had some punch outs to end innings. And that's special. That's the guy you're looking for, somebody with that heart that can get out there and fight and have grit. And when you have that and 100-mile-an-hour heater in your pocket and good late breaking balls, you'll find a way to get outs. And that's what Mason did last night.
You have to learn to compete when you don't have your best.
And compete is the one thing that you always want your guys to go out there and do. And look, our guys go out and compete. They really do. I mean, there's not anybody on our team that doesn't want to play baseball. And, right now we just got to find a way to keep that grit alive and keep that, not fun, but, keep that professionalism going, that, hey, we're going to work hard. We're going to play hard. We're going to stick to the process and grind. And that's all we can ask of our players and our staff and our organization, that just stay in the fight. It's not easy. It's not fun. It's grinding right now, to be honest with you. But you got to go home every night and look in the mirror and say, yeah, I want this for this organization in the long haul. And the grit is what's going to keep us going, and the process. And we got a lot of people in this organization that believe in ourselves, and we just got to get to that point where everybody is doing their part to keep grinding and keep that grit alive, which we are. And hopefully sooner rather than later, good things are going to happen for us.
And we got a long way to go, but already what you have seen, especially Ken Waldichuk, the last few outings, the way he's competed and his stuff, JP Sears has shown you a lot of gumption, right? I mean, when he had those 11 punch outs in Texas, you know what you're going to get out of JP Sears. Muller continues to go out there and fight. So when you start to see the young guys, it's hard to judge. Are they getting better? It's just kind of like the eye test. You can see there's confidence growing, the way they're out there competing, they're giving you more. So for you judging those guys, how do you see it? Because obviously it's going to be a roller coaster ride with young pitchers.
Yeah, sometimes, it's about, getting in survival mode sometimes. And can you survive with having your best stuff? Look, we all talked about Mason's outing last night. Like I just said, 100 pitches, 54 strikes. He found a way to survive. and kept us in the game. When Mason starts executing his pitches a little bit better, man, watch out,
Yeah.
And so that's what the process is with these guys. Some of it is, right now we're looking what we can do to survive and then take that survival mode, because that's a fight mode. You got to get into the fight, and we have that, and take that grit, and now breathe a little bit, be confident that I can execute major league pitches. The one thing hopefully we're trying to do is execute major league pitches. And if we're not executing major league pitches right now, if we keep trying to execute those pitches just like in 17, then good things will come. If we go away from trying to execute major league pitches and just stay in survival mode, we'll never get to the big picture thinking. So we got to go out there and still continue to learn how to pitch. And if hitting's timing, pitching is disruption of timing. We talk about that for as long as I've been in this organization. We're pitching to soft contact. We're taking the punch outs when we can, and the more we stay in that mode and stay the aggressor and really think big picture thinking. At some point in time, you're going to have to make a 3-2 pitch to win a World Series game. Right. And not every time it can be a fastball. So if we're working on it sometimes here in a season, and we're getting guys to try to make those pitches, and they can't make those pitches, but in that World Series game down the line, they make that pitch, we're going to remember this moment.
I just gave 2 examples yesterday. It was the A's game, the last game against the Cincinnati Reds, and then 2 nights ago at Yankee Stadium. The defining plays in the game, it was the error by the pitcher that really set things up for Ruiz game winner, and it was a non-play by a pitcher that set up the victory the other night against the Yankees. For what, Cody, was that the Twins?
The Yankees went against.
No, when the Yankees lost Clay Holmes.
It was the Guardians.
The Guardians. So my point was, we sit here with technology, and we're barrel rate, exit velocity, and they were squibbers, a bunt and a squibber that were the key. You still have to play the game, and why I bring that up is I think about pitching, as you mentioned, a 3-2 pitch. We can have Hawkeye, we can have TrackMan, we can have Rapsodo, we can have these high-tech cameras. At some point, as you mentioned, disrupting timing of the hitter. Whatever the technology, at some point you have to make pitches that, to hell with whatever. You have to make the pitch. You have to compete.
Well, we can go right back to the J.P. Sears game in Anaheim, the breaking ball for the homer there. He pitched a really good game and made one bad pitch that cost him a bunch of runs. But I thought he threw the ball really well, but it was that one pitch, like you said, we can compile everything we want, and just one instant, the game can turn on you. And he left a slider middle, guy hit a homer on it, and it was kind of a knockout punch. But overall, I thought he threw the ball really well. It was just that one pitch that got him.
I'm trying to figure this out. I don't know if you have the answer, but somewhere in our game, that this was the number, like, oh boy, you can't get up to it, you can't eclipse it, danger, danger, danger. And I'm like, is there any scientific data, any medical data that says 100 and over pitchers are in really big trouble? Why isn't it 85 pitches, 95, 105, 150? What is it about the number 100?
You're not going to last night's game.
No, I'm going to stay away from that. I'm just going to say, for all pitchers, like, as soon as we get to 100, broadcasters have all bought in now. Oh, he's getting up to 100 pitches. Why isn't it 90? When did it become? Why hasn't it become? And that started happening probably when you were still pitching, right?
I think if you really break down the pitch count numbers, if you're looking at starters going third time through, and the offense and what they do to starters third time through is kind of driven some of this pitch count stuff, which, analytically, you look at it, the starter going out third time through, he's not as good. So if you got guys in your bullpen that are fresh that day, then there's a chance that the starter goes less than 100 and he gets the third time through, and boom, you go for it with your bullpen. So for me, 15 pitches an inning times 9 is what, 135, right? So if you're cruising and you're 15, for me personally, I think you can get up that high as long as you're having those innings combined, 15 pitches per inning. But now we got to the point where almost 18 pitches per inning is where we're at with a major league pitcher. And now you divide, you multiply that by 9. Now you're getting a little bit higher. But I really do think, a lot of it is driven by, looking at the data of the pitcher and where he's good and where he's bad. Most pitchers between 75 and 100, the data is not as good. Their data is pretty good after 100. Why? Because they get to 100 and they're pitching good, so you leave them out there, right?
Yeah.
So, there's, for me, it's always the rest on the backside. What are we doing after those 100 pitches? Mason Miller pitches 100 pitches last night, where he hasn't gone on 5 days rest much in his whole life and his whole career. So we're gonna kind of watch him. We watch his bullpen tomorrow, see where we're at with it, make sure he's okay. The object is to keep him fresh for the game, and then see where we're at. So I agree with you that why are we getting to 100? But I think a lot of it is just for me, around the analytics and around this is where pitchers, don't pitch as well, 75 to 100 pitches. And, if we can get the bullpen and we got a stacked bullpen at the time, we use it. I mean, if you got a solidified number one starter and he's at 75, then the data is going to say, hey, stick with that guy. That's what elite guys might go more pitches than your fourth and fifth starter. So I think what you're trying to do is just give your team a chance to win the ball game.
I think it's interesting what you said, if you're only doing like 15 pitches per innings, because that's where they say some people worry is when a pitcher has an inning of 30 plus pitches in an inning, or let's say high 20s. That's when they worry about health. I agree with you. Like if you're going through 12, 15, you're getting a lot of outs to contact. There's nothing wrong with going deep into games.
Yeah, I mean, right now, with the pitch clock, you're throwing 15 pitches faster than you threw 15 pitches last year. You're throwing 25 pitches faster than you did last year. All the teams now have the data with a Kinetrack system or a Hawkeye system to see at what point in time during the inning is the delivery slightly breaking down. You get a guy around 22 pitches and he's throwing breaking balls and his delivery isn't as good. Maybe he's throwing now hanging breaking balls. I always try to like to make a trip around 20, 22 pitches, 23, depending on the flow of the inning to give the guy a breather. I've tried to send the catcher out also around that time with 2 outs, because sometimes you need the trip to the mound to help the bullpen get ready. So, with all the new data coming out, there's going to be more stuff that can tell you when pitchers' deliveries are breaking down during innings and when pitchers are breaking down throughout the course of the game.
Now, with the pitch timer, I've been waiting to ask you this because obviously when you have too much time to think, I think about our golf games. We're sitting on the tee way too long, and all of a sudden, don't go left, wing, you go left. Sometimes it's better when you don't have time to think and you just get it into a rhythm. We talk about rhythm again, right? You get in a rhythm, you just go. Have you found that the pitch timer, we saw it in the minor leagues, but now at the big league level, that it's really helping catchers, pitchers get into a faster groove, which then helps your defense out? It starts to help a lot of different things.
I think obviously when you're pitching good, it helps you out. When you're struggling and you need the breather, it doesn't help you out. But keeping the pace of the game moving along. Look, over the course of time, we're going to adjust to all this stuff. By All-Star break, we're going to be better at All-Star break with the clock than we were to start the season. We're going to be way better next season as we were this season. So it's just an adjustment time. When I grew up pitching, all my pitching coaches would always say, put the rosin bag close to the rubber and hurry up and get it going and try to get this game over with as fast as you can because of the defense and because trying to get into a good rhythm. But if you're not in a good rhythm, then it doesn't help you.
It's kind of almost like it's getting, the game gets fast on you, right? It's kind of a little bit of a panic.
Yeah, I mean, some guys want to process a little bit more. Yeah. They're a little bit slower processing. So what pitch to throw? Oh, now I'm down to like 6 seconds. I got to throw this pitch. Maybe they're not throwing pitches with conviction. So as we get better with this and getting the pitchers to understand the scouting reports and understand what they should be doing towards certain hitters, and the catchers understanding what we can do towards certain hitters, putting down the right, fingers or the button on the first pitch is better for the pitcher than your second or third option.
We like to talk about this all the time with you about how everybody thinks of a pitching coach or a hitting coach as someone that's just working on physical stuff. And a lot of this is more mental. It's about confidence. It's about belief. It's about your pitchers, how they're feeling. Sometimes they have stuff going on, like Trevor May has stepped away from the game because of things that he's dealing with. We don't know what's going on with the athletes behind the scenes. Just, talk about how much your job is, okay, how are we throwing the curveball? How we doing everything? But a lot of your job too is what's going on here with your pitchers.
Yeah, your brain's a powerful tool. Sometimes more times than not, when you go searching for problems, you're going to find problems. I tell the guys that a lot. Like, if you're searching and you're searching and you're searching, we'll find it. We can get on the all the stats and all the systems and find something. And I try to tell them, go back. I'll use Fuji as an example. I said, go back to when you were a rookie at 18 years old in the Japanese major leagues. And what did you think about? And he's nothing. Well, there you go. Don't overthink. Get out there and clear your mind.
Let it go.
Yeah, get out there and feel like you belong. And when you get out there and you process and you're constantly processing, it's a tough life, man. It's a tough world to go constantly process. And I try to get these guys, hopefully to understand that they are good. That's why they're here. Execute the pitch that you're throwing, not necessarily try to make your pitches better, make better pitches. And what I mean by that is locate your slider down the way. Don't pull it and overthrow it and bounce it in the dirt sometimes. Take a chance of hitting the mitt down the way at the bottom corner of the strike zone. And then I'm pretty sure that's going to self-organize the delivery if that's what you're looking for. You make a good pitch in the strike zone, your delivery is probably pretty good. You yank one, you pull off a pitch, obviously your delivery is pretty bad. So, really concentrate on making your pitches better rather than having better pitches, because that's what you're going to do. If you're a 95 guy, don't try to throw 96, 97. Stay under control, make a good pitch, and it's going to be 95.
How much during the season, the off season, do you read about the power of the mind and philosophies and how to deal with people? Because it's very easy for people to go negative. It's very easy, as you said, if you're looking for problems, you're going to find problems. You've said that twice now, and I immediately think of my golf game. I'm searching, like, why, what do I do well? Why don't I concentrate what I do well? I mean, we get down on ourselves. Like how much do you research that? Because that's a big part of who you are.
Yeah, I mean, you're constantly. I'm constantly on the internet in the off season trying to better, myself as a leader and reading books and looking at information and the psychology of everything about understanding that I want to be even keel the best I can. In my golf game, what I've understood is if I don't practice and I don't play good, I'm not going to worry about it. I get out on the tee, I show up, and I hack. I'm not worried about my golf game anymore because I don't practice. I don't take it as seriously enough. Now, these guys, they get out there every day and they work hard and they practice, but, perfect practice, it's hard to do. So repetition is easy. Get out there and repeat your delivery. Repeat the best you can. Repeating your delivery without a baseball, not worrying about the command of it. And then when you get on, don't worry about your delivery, worry about commanding it are kind of some of the things I talk to our guys about. And it's a process, every day is a grind in this, in this game and even in life, life is like a game of baseball. You play it every day. It's just not the moves you make, the kind of game you play. So when you're out there and you're talking about, pitching, you got to have that good, clear mind, and you got to understand that you are good, and all I got to do is make good pitches. And if I make good pitches and they hit it, maybe I got to, find a new career, I guess. It's hard, but we have to find a way to make good pitches, and the more times these guys make good pitches, the better they're going to be.
Now, I just realized a little bit ago while doing this interview that my chair is a lot taller than his. If you don't know, he is actually a lot taller than I am, and I think – watching the game and watching these playoffs, I noticed you really came up in the wrong era. It was years ago with the Milwaukee Bucks that Don Nelson figured out, my guards stink, but I got a big guy who can handle it and bring it up the floor. It was the invention of the discovery of the point forward, which later on, after Don Nelson did that, you became a point forward. If you would have come up, people got to realize he was a great basketball player back in the day. If you would have come up in this era where now we watch No big deal. LeBron James brings the ball up the floor. How much different would your basketball career have been if you played now where we accept big men shoot threes? Because guys your size, they always forced you under the basket, rebound. They would have allowed you to shoot threes and be the point forward a little more. I know you did a little bit of it, but if you would have come up now, you might have a different basketball career.
Yeah, I mean, basketball is a great love. Obviously, baseball is what I've always wanted to do. But I love basketball. I enjoy watching basketball games. These guys are big, strong, and a little bit quicker than I was. The weight room back in my day, we really never heard of it. We just got out on the court and ran stadiums and jump rope all day long. I think the one thing I do regret probably in my baseball career is when we started doing weight training, I was kind of behind the 8 ball on that one. Like, I don't know if I'm there yet, but I wish I would have gotten a little bit bigger and stronger for sure.
How many triple doubles do you think you could have had back in the day? If you played this style of basketball, the running up and down the floor, you're handling the ball as the big man. How many triple doubles?
I don't know. I mean, I enjoy passing the basketball just as much as I loved shooting the basketball. I didn't really like getting under the boards and rebounding too much, big guys banging on you. But, passing the rock.
Double doubles. How many double doubles?
I think I could have a few double doubles.
I got to tell you, it's always an honor to have you on the program. I don't care what the record is. I don't care the struggles. We know how great you are, what you've meant to so many pitchers. We've had a lot of great pitchers come through here. And when they come back and they come on this show and what they say and sing your praises, you're definitely one of the best in the business. And you know how much we love having you on. And keep your head up because, in a year like this, you're truly being a teacher.
Yeah, let's just stick to the process and do the best we can.
And welcome to the press box.
Thank you. I love it up here.
We got more coming up next right here on A's Cast Live.
With more sunshine returning, it's time to get outside and make the most of what Cinnabar Hills Golf Club has to offer, like 27 championship caliber holes tucked in the beautiful hills of San Jose. And take advantage of their amazing Bay Area views for your next special event. It's all for you at Cinnabar Hills Golf Club, an award-winning venue designed to peacefully take you away from the bustle of Silicon Valley. Go to CinnabarHills.com. That's CinnabarHills.com.
This is Chris Townsend. There are two things that are a must for me: comfort and style. Whether I'm playing golf, going to dinner, I've got to have the right feel. That's why I've partnered with Linksole, and you're going to love Linksole. They have just released their new spring line, new fabrics for their polos, lightweight and perfect for technical performance. Linksole also has new styles for their layers and hoodies with cool prints and seasonal colors. You know what they say in the big leagues: look good, play good. Go to Linksole.com. That's Linksole.com.
Chevron with Techron has unbeatable engine cleaning power, and it gives you unbeatable mileage for all kinds of unbeatable destinations, like time in the sun at the beach, or time in the sun riding roller coasters, or a day in the sun hiking mountains. Well, probably just one mountain would be enough for a day, but hiking a mountain is still an unbeatable choice for how to spend time. Download the Chevron app now to get unbeatable mileage at locations near you.
This is Chris Townsend, and if you're looking for a great place to eat and watch games, go see my friends at the Chicken Pie Shop of Walnut Creek. The Chicken Pie Shop is one of the hottest restaurants in Walnut Creek. You're not going to find a better menu, and come try their world-famous chicken pie that has been served in Southern California for 86 years. Spacious indoor and outdoor dining, perfect for your next private party or corporate event. Don't forget free parking. For more information, go to chickenpieshopwc.com. That's chickenpieshopwc.com.
Unlock offers and receive exclusive in-game features by downloading the MLB Ballpark app for iPhone and Android today. Plus, get the latest information on game times, schedules, and more.
A's Cast Live continues from the town. Here's Chris Townsend.
Weiss stretches and deals, and the pitch is hit to deep right, toward the line, near the wall. He did it! Stephen Vogt did it! In the last game as an Athletic, he floats around the bases with a solo home run to right. His career is now officially complete. What a magical moment for Stephen Vogt.
if you remember back, hard not to have tears in your eyes. It was an incredible ending to such a special career and somebody that meant so much to so many of us in the A's family. He will always be a part of the A's family. We're supposed to have him on video with us today, but obviously we're up here in the press box as it's just the way it is with the rain. But Stephen Vogt, now Mariners coach, joins us here on A's Cast Live. How are you?
I'm doing great. How are you?
Well, last time we were talking to you, you had tears in your eyes, and it was coming to an end, and the family. And were you able to really grasp what happened and all those special moments with your family, your kids being of age to remember it, and just ending your career? Were you able really to sit back and go, wow?
I was, but at the same time, I still don't think I've fully grasped how the last day went, from the reception from my teammates and the team in the clubhouse to my friends and family to the fans to the organization. Just it's still a big blur for me, and I still can't really fathom that it actually ended the way it did.
Well, it was definitely magical. What was it like walking back into the stadium?
I had a big smile on my face. I always love coming back here, whether I was a visiting player or just getting here every day to play. I love coming to the Coliseum. It's a wonderful place. It's got so many fond memories for me and my family, and it felt really, really good to be back in town, and a lot of memories going through my head.
You think about so many people when they're going to get into coaching, they wanted to give it some time. We talked to you about maybe being on MLB Network or maybe working for a team as a broadcaster. But with the way the game is changing, and it's changing so fast, new rules, but all the stuff that had just been implemented, it just seems for me, and now that we're talking the first time, it seems to me like it is the perfect time, because it's not like you've been away from the game, you have to learn anything. Your expertise is right here. You're just doing it a few months ago.
Yeah, I wasn't sure even going into the offseason in the first couple months what I really wanted to do, this year. But, the Mariners called and we kind of worked some stuff out, and I had some good offers out there. But it really felt like this was the role I was looking for. And it was a good opportunity, like you said, for me to just stay in the game, go straight from playing to coaching, and, just to be able to help guys like, hey, I know where you're at. I was just in your shoes a year ago, and I played against the same guys you did. I played against you guys. And played with a lot of people out here. So it gives me a great angle to be able to help our guys any way I can. And I'm having an absolute blast.
I know you weren't watching or listening to this show during spring training, but we were talking about you during spring training down at Ho-Ho-Cam on A's Cast Live. And Adam Aller, we did this long interview about Adam Aller talking about what you did for him, how you took him aside and you taught him how to prepare. You taught him how to win. You taught him how to compete. And that was already coaching before you were a coach. How much have you taken that type of approach, what you did with Adam Aller, and have you been able yet to do that with any of the Mariners pitchers?
I mean, yeah, I feel like, for me, Tony, I've always kind of been a player coach in a way. I mean, there's a lot of aspect of catching that goes into it where it's a very similar role. And the way I like to say it is nothing really has changed other than the fact that I don't have to and coaches and play with some unbelievably talented people. And I learned a lot from the people around me. And that's all I'm trying to do is help guys learn faster than I did. That's what I'm trying to do every day for these guys.
Now that you've seen the new rules, and let's just say some of them are not so catcher friendly, base stealing is way up. So far, pitch timer, how you got to work with the pitcher, how fast you got to do it. What have you thought of the new rules?
I like most of them. I really, really like I didn't think I would like the pitch clock, and I don't think I would like it if I was still playing. But I can tell you that as a coach, I'm loving the game times. But, and I think the shift has helped promote some more offense as well. It's nice to see some left-handers get some base hits in the 3-4 hole. I think so. That's the one that I miss the most. But as far as the base stealing goes, I know it's really exciting, and the 2 disengagements, I'm not a fan of that one. I think it changed the way we control the running game and things like that. But it's definitely created a more exciting game. I think people are really enjoying watching baseball. I know I'm an old school person at heart, and I can't stand seeing all the timers around the park. I really don't. But it has made the game a better product, in my opinion.
Well, teams that don't get out to a hot start, you were recently on one and you got a World Series ring with them. But we were talking about the Washington Nationals, then the Atlanta Braves, even back to last year with the Philadelphia Phillies, teams that don't get off to a great start, but then they're able to find it. I know a lot of people saw the Seattle Mariners after breaking their long streak of not being in the postseason since 2001 as they were a team that, building off last year, could be a team that takes down the Astros and win the American League West. So when you look at this early start, what do you think needs to happen to kind of turn things around for the Mariners?
Obviously our record hasn't been great, and we haven't played up to our capabilities to this point, and we all know that. And, for me, what it is it's staying consistent with the way we're pitching and staying consistent with our defense, and it's timely hitting. And that's kind of been our MO so far this year. Is we've been doing the right things, we've been putting guys in the right spots, and we just haven't gotten that big hit very often. And so I think for us, it's the situational hitting and the timely hitting. I think when we start to get rolling on that offensively, and if we can continue to pitch the way we are and play good defense, I think that's the recipe. But it's early, and we're very aware that we got off to kind of a slow start, but things have started to kind of trend in the right direction the last week. We had a tough road trip. We've lost 4 one-run games, and that's really tough to handle sometimes. But the guys are in good spirits, and everybody's working and putting themselves in a position to succeed.
Yeah, that's a crazy thing. 2 straight years you had, and before you were there, obviously, last 2 seasons, 67 one-run victories. That's tough to keep going. We'll see how if you guys can get back on track with that. When you start looking around the league right now, and you start looking at the Texas Rangers, you look at what you've seen with Anaheim. How do you make of the West? Because obviously you know this division so well.
Yeah, it's going to be a competitive division. Obviously, we know that. The Rangers got better. The Astros they're always going to be really good, and the Angels are better. And so, and obviously the A's always play you tough. That's the one thing, I know from experience because I was part of it. But the A's always play everybody tough, and it's never an easy victory. But I think it's anybody's division. I really do. Obviously, the Astros are always going to be the team to beat. They're the reigning world champions. But we really feel good about our team, and we feel good about our chances, and just got to continue to stay the course and play our game.
You mentioned consistency, and that's something that, with fans, we don't think about that kind of stuff, but there's a message that's sent in spring training. How important is it as a staff, and now that you're a part of a staff, how important is it that what was said in spring training stays consistent beginning of the year, middle of the year, end of the year, and to always be consistent to the players no matter what the record is?
It's 100%. That's your job, is deliver the message during spring training when there's no emotions, there's no results, and then continue to stay the course with that message. The best way I describe it, and I actually got to get running here in a second to go do my job, but
sure.
The best way I describe it is I'm the warning bumpers in your seat when you're driving. And the big leaguers stay in their lane, they're great. And when they start to veer out of their lane, you got to bump them back towards their lane. And that's what I'm trying to do, and that's the message you deliver in spring training, and you continue to just keep them on the course, and that's what I'm trying to do every day.
Quickly, was it odd the first time someone called you coach?
Yeah. It was a really weird feeling, but a lot of guys have been calling me coach for years now, just kind of razzing me, so I'm kind of used to it. But I'm really enjoying it, and it's so fun to be back here in Oakland at the Coliseum and to see all the people that I cherish so dearly.
Voter, you've always been so good to us. I can't tell you how much I've always appreciated our time together, your career here as an Oakland Athletic. Everybody loves you. And then next time you're in town, let's be able to do this back on the field.
Yeah, I hope so too. This rain ain't it. So great catching up with you, Tony.
Be well. Take care.
Bye-bye.
Stephen Vogt, the All-Star, the two-time All-Star for the Oakland Athletics, as just a class act, a grade A. And, you know, you talk about talent. Stephen Vogt really could have done whatever he really wanted to do. I mean, he was a hot commodity after he retired. I think he easily could have gone back. I'm not going to ask him what he had cooking, but could he have done MLB Network? I bet. I'm sure there was quite a few of the organizations that he played for that reached out, including ours, that, hey, there's a position for you. What do you want to do? And obviously with family and Seattle is the ideal situation for him. So congratulations to Stephen Vogt. Cody, you haven't been in the show at all yet.
Well, Drew Rosinski's on his way up now too. So, but I do want to throw it out there. What I put we got something new going on at the ballpark now. Wanted to get it in. By the way,
I love that. What do we got?
JJ Bleday is now up. By the way, counter capable AAA JJ Bleday up in the lineup hitting fifth tonight. But
which by the way, I know AJ Puck has had success down in Miami. I still love this deal. This kid, he was a 6th overall or 5th overall?
I think he was 5th because Puck was 6th.
All right, 5th overall pick in the draft.
Somewhere around there.
Yeah,
he was top 10.
Put it this way, he was at the top of everybody's draft board, all 30 teams. He was all SEC. This kid, the fact that the Marlins paid him all that money and dealt him. We had him on the program. He had, quickly before Drew, I'll get back into
so
Bleday.
Oakland A's fans, kids, and their furry dog friends can enjoy games at the Coliseum with 3 new summer at the ballpark promotions. The A's Summer Pass presented by Corona. Bark in the Park tickets and Kids Cheer free tickets are now available at athletics.com/summer. Fans can purchase an A's Summer Pass for only $99 and watch 37 games between May 29th and August 23rd from the Oak Landing. The social area down the left field line features drink rails and the perfect opportunity to catch a home run ball. The A's Summer Pass also includes an Oak Landing t-shirt and discounts on premium seating, guest passes up to 4, at MLBshop.com purchases. So go to athletics.com/summer. 37 games for $99, not a bad deal.
So Drew Rosinski's coming up right now?
That's what I've been told.
Did you say Bark at the Park is back?
That's what my wife's very excited.
My kids have been dying to bring the dog because we haven't had that now long.
Since I've been working around, I don't remember having Bark at the Park. And I've been here since 19. I don't think we had it. I don't think we did it back then. I could be wrong, but it's been a while.
How many years you worked here?
This is my 5th season.
My dog just turned 5, right?
Yeah, so did mine.
Because they've always wanted to bring Spencer, the Cavalier. They've always wanted to bring Spencer to the ballpark. And I've always been like, yeah, of course. And, God, we really haven't had Bark at the Park since 2000. I'm telling you, these years, other than the COVID year, because that always stands out like, wow, these years are really flying. Like, Max Scherzer's already served his 10-game suspension.
Yeah, he's pitching tonight, right?
Yes, they have a doubleheader. They've already played one game, right?
They're playing in Detroit. He's going back to the place where it all started.
Do you know?
Well, not Scherzer. I'm thinking of Verlander.
Do you know the last time Scherzer and Verlander pitched in the same game? Same back-to-back days.
No, had to be obviously with Detroit.
Yeah, you got to go back to
like
2014. That was the last time. And so we're probably going to see that this weekend. Well, we finally get to meet. We've been trying to have you on since spring training. I know you see us down there. Normally we're not up here, but obviously with the rain, and our schedules just never hooked up when we were down at spring training. But it's great to finally meet you and great to have you.
Yeah, thank you so much. I'm kind of a busy guy, and it's hard to track me down. I'm happy it finally worked out today.
No doubt about it. Just like I know with the hamstring that had to be tough just to finally get your season going.
Yeah, that's kind of a bummer. I haven't dealt with that in a long time, and it just kind of put the brakes on the start here. But happy to be back and get rolling now.
And I think about what you mean for this ball club. You come in with a lot of young starting pitchers. How much have you looked at yourself coming in as a veteran guy, even though you're coming from the KBO, but you're a veteran guy, you've been here, done that before?
Yeah, I just try to go out there and do what I can do and kind of lead by example and show the guys the hard work it takes to put in to be out there on the field every day. And, I'm just excited to be back here and prove what I can do over here.
Yeah, I mean, we just had Scott Emerson up here, your pitching coach, and talking about these young guys and how you have to almost be like a psychologist with these guys because young players, you're gonna have good, you're gonna have bad, and you have to let them know that the good's good, but the bad's never that bad. Can you help Scott Emerson with that, dealing with these young guys, because he's gonna need all the help he can get?
Yeah, I mean, for sure. There's so many ups and downs throughout a season. You guys got to try to find the best way you can to just be level-headed about it. Try to limit the ups and downs and just be that consistent guy out there each week, and not get too high when it's going well and too low when it's going down. Just try to find what works for you, that routine. And, I try to tell guys that, and that what works for me too is sticking with that routine the best you can.
Yeah, routine. I mean, first of all, you got to find your routine, and then you got to make sure you stay in that routine, winning, losing, feeling good, not feeling good, staying in consistency and routine. Some people like to vary, and it's just like, stay in that. Well, you got to find it and then stay in it.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, you got to find what works for you, and everybody's different. Like, everyone's going to find something that works for them. And for me, even it changes year to year, week to week. I mean, like, you got to find what works for you and be confident in it and know you're getting your work in, and go let it roll from there. You kind of let the mental side, if you did your prep, kind of let the mental side relax then once you know you've done your work. And that's how I look at it.
What was it like coming back to Major League Baseball?
It's exciting. It's been a while. It's been 4 years since I've been back over here. And it's fun to see some guys that I've played with in KBO over here having success, and kind of want to be one of those guys to come back and have success here as well. And it's just exciting to be back in the States. It's a little easier for my family to follow along and come see me and stuff. So it's exciting to be here.
Well, during COVID, we all started watching the KBO, and we're like, this league's awesome. I mean, it was like, and we talked to CJ Nikowski, longtime big league pitcher, does television for the Rangers now, and he's on Sirius XM, and he loved playing over there. And now we know why. It's like the excitement every game. It felt like a college football game.
Yes.
I don't know if you thought you would be there that long, but you stayed there a while. You had to love it.
Oh yeah, I absolutely enjoyed it. Yeah, the atmosphere is something that just it's not replicated here. It's just a different. Like, it doesn't matter if you're down 15-0, the fans are still there going crazy. They're having fun. So and the atmosphere is great. The players have a lot of fun with that. And the game's just exciting every day over there, and I really enjoyed my time, but I'm thankful to be back as well.
Now, I've been over to Japan twice with the A's, and we played some of the Japanese teams, and they got the bands going. Every player, every guy who comes up to hit has a different song, and I'm like, why can't we get that rolling? I don't know if we could ever get it rolling here, but wouldn't that be great if we could? I mean, the atmosphere is unbelievable.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, the fight songs, when the guys come up, the whole stadium knows they're cheering along. They have dances for it. Like, yeah, it's a pretty wild thing to do. It's just a different thing. I don't know it'd be great if we could do that here. I just don't know if it'll ever get implemented like that.
And bat flipping's an art form.
For sure. Yeah, those guys enjoy that. I mean, a single in the 6-hole, you're still getting a bat flip. So.
Now, how long did it take to get used to that?
It didn't really bother me. A guy gets a hit, he should celebrate. It's hard to get a hit. And I think it goes both ways. I get a strikeout in a big spot, I'm excited too. So it's part of it, and I think it's more fun for the game.
We talked to Dan Straley when he was in the KBO about that. Like, they encouraged him, like, hey, you got to strike out. You got to celebrate a little more. And he's like, I didn't. But then he started. So after a while, did you feel like, hey, I can let loose a little bit? It's more like everybody understanding you're an entertainer.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, exactly. That's the thing. You're there for the entertainment. Absolutely. I mean, you're there to go win games. But yeah, I felt like I could have some fun. You get out of a big spot, show some emotion, and you don't always have to be a robot. I think if you're not having fun out there, you're playing the wrong sport. It should be exciting. You should have that adrenaline going and show it a little bit.
You had some stardom over there.
Yeah.
How was that?
That's pretty cool. I mean, it's kind of crazy to just like walk around the city I was in and people recognize you. Like, that's different. That's something new for me. And it was pretty cool to experience that. It's sometimes a relief to not experience that for sure. But it was fun. I enjoyed that a lot. And it's so cool to have the fans that support you so much. And it's pretty cool.
What do you think you learned over there that's really going to translate and help you over here?
I think just being able to continue pounding the strike zone, staying ahead in counts. Those guys are really good at fouling off a lot of pitches over there. So you just got to figure out what you can consistently throw in the zone and make all your pitches close to the zone, so you don't end up walking a bunch of guys. And hopefully that translates over here as well. And, try to get deep into games by saving pitches. I know a lot of guys go over there at first and struggle. They're looking up in the 4th and 5th inning. They're at 100 pitches already. And it took me a little bit of adjustment to that as well. And hopefully I can translate that here, getting deep into games.
Yeah, because right now, I mean, you look at our staff, hell, you look at every staff in the big leagues. Everybody's looking for one thing, innings. There's a mindset to that. Talk about that mindset to where you're not sitting here going, whoa, I got through 4, thank God.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely different. Like, I mean, guys, like, I feel like 5 innings is a good start now across the league, and it is. Like, it's so hard to face hitters that third time through the order. But if you can be that guy to go get those extra couple innings and save the pen, man, it's huge for your team. I mean, not every start's going to go great, and you're going to deal with runs, but if you can just keep going out there and get through those innings and keep eating innings, it helps the team tremendously by keeping the pen fresh and just keeping the games rolling.
Well, can we do this more often? We've been trying to get you for a couple months because, the veteran guys, you're playing, it's just not the first month. I mean, we got a long way to go. You're going to play not just as a player, as a mentor, you're going to play a big role for a lot of guys that are going to be coming up.
Yeah, I'm excited for that and looking forward to the great rest of the season here.
Well, it's great to finally meet you. We got more coming up right here on A's Cast Live. And there are 2 things that are a must for me: comfort and style. Whether I'm playing golf, going to dinner, I've got to have the right feel. That's why I've partnered with Linksole, and you're going to love Linksole. They have just released their new spring line, new fabrics for their polos, lightweight and perfect for technical performance. Linksole also has new styles for their layers and hoodies with cool prints and seasonal colors. You know what they say in the big leagues: look good, play good. Go to linksole.com. That's linksole.com.
Chevron with Techron has unbeatable engine cleaning power, and it gives you unbeatable mileage for all kinds of unbeatable destinations, like time in the sun at the beach, or time in the sun riding roller coasters, or a day in the sun hiking mountains. Well, probably just one mountain would be enough for a day, but hiking a mountain is still an unbeatable choice for how to spend time. Download the Chevron app now to get unbeatable mileage at locations near you.
This is Chris Townsend, and if you're looking for a great place to eat and watch games, go see my friends at the Chicken Pie Shop of Walnut Creek. The Chicken Pie Shop is one of the hottest restaurants in Walnut Creek. You're not going to find a better menu, and come try their world-famous chicken pie that has been served in Southern California for 86 years. Spacious indoor and outdoor dining, perfect for your next private party or corporate event. Don't forget free parking. For more information, go to chickenpieshopwc.com. That's chickenpieshopwc.com.
If you're looking for a new mattress, Nest Bedding has you covered. Sleep on the same mattress Hall of Famer Ricky Henderson sleeps on. Nest Bedding is the #1 brand of online mattresses and the Bay Area's favorite mattress store. Take home the Easy Breather pillow. The New York Times calls it their #1 pick. You can navigate their easy-to-use website, nestbedding.com. That's nestbedding.com. Green and Gold fans, use the coupon code Oakland and you get 10% off your entire order. Nest Bedding, love where you sleep.
Thanks to the Xfinity 10G network, my little brother's friends won't leave our house. When I was their age, internet with basically no interruptions was a pipe dream.
You sound like my grandpa.
Now through April 23rd, new customers can get 200 megabit Xfinity internet during our limited time Xfinity 10G network launch celebration for just $25 a month for 2 years. Go to xfinity.com/10G, call 1-800-XFINITY, or visit a store today. Requires paperless billing and autopay with stored bank account. Restrictions apply. Taxes and fees extra. After promo, regular rates apply to internet service and devices. Actual speeds vary.
Hey, Billy, this deck is great for getting everyone together.
Thanks. We're really enjoying the outdoor space, especially on a day like today.
What's the material?
Humboldt Redwood from Ashby Lumber. They gave us a great deal, provided us with a quick quote, and we couldn't be happier. We even found a great contractor through their online contractor directory.
Don't miss a day outdoors. Visit Ashby Lumber in Berkeley or Concord to see our stock of naturally strong, naturally beautiful Humboldt Redwood. Find out more at ashbylumber.com for all your building needs. Ashby Lumber.
Innovation is at the core of Cal State East Bay, like at our Green Biome Institute, where faculty and students preserve genetic information from California's endangered plants, or how we open doors for local entrepreneurs at our Small Business Development Center. From educators to nurses to STEM professionals, Cal State East Bay has real impact throughout the region's neighborhoods, boardrooms, and the entire economy. Be part of the innovation. Connect with Cal State East Bay at csueastbay.edu/impact.
Bring the whole family out to the ballpark for this Friday night showdown on May 26th. Come see your A's take on the Houston Astros, then head down to the field to see the best fireworks in the Bay Area. So get ready to enjoy a one-of-a-kind pop through the decades post-game fireworks show.
Throws, and it's swung and hit to right field, deep in the corner, and that's going to be gone, and it's back to back to back.
Grab your seats today at athletics.com/fireworks. That's athletics.com/fireworks. Baseball season is officially here, and there's no better time to build your collection of Topps trading cards. Topps packs feature everything from top stars, rookies, game-used memorabilia, and autographs from players around the league, as well as special inserts and surprises. Visit your local hobby shop, retailers, and Topps.com to collect the first product of the season, Topps Series 1 Baseball. Follow @Topps on social media to join the conversation and start sharing your collection today.
Humanity has accomplished a whole lot so far. We created penicillin, the automobile, and the internet, not to mention drones, duct tape, and the hot dog. It's all thanks to the power of human connections. And Ring Central's here to make that even easier, more seamlessly and securely, on a platform built to grow your business. Say hello to a whole new way to say hello. Visit ringcentral.com and say hello to possibilities. Ring Central. Message, video, phone, together.
When Northern California businesses need some pop in their lineup, they call the bank rooted in the East Bay, Mechanics Bank. Since 1905, Mechanics Bank has been helping Bay Area and Northern California businesses find success and perform at the top of their game. See how they can make a difference in your business today. Call or stop by your local branch or visit mechanicsbank.com. Mechanics Bank, the official East Bay bank of the Oakland A's. Member FDIC and equal housing lender.
Unlock offers and receive exclusive in-game features by downloading the MLB Ballpark app for iPhone and Android today. Plus, get the latest information on game times, schedules, and more.
Spring is here and summer is right around the corner, which means two things: golf and special events. Hi, Vince Cotroneo for Cinnabar Hills Golf Club in San Jose. First, enjoy the best of Bay Area golf with 27 holes of championship caliber play. Then you'll agree it's the best place to play in Silicon Valley. And two, with its award-winning venue, let Cinnabar Hills cater your upcoming special occasion, including weddings. Enjoy all that Cinnabar Hills has to offer: great golf, food, and incredible views of the Bay Area. Learn more at cinnabarhills.com. That's cinnabarhills.com.
Streaming from the town, A's Cast Live continues with Chris Townsend.
Nothing but the finest for you, my friend. Nothing but the finest. We have us open.
The Eno Sarah Show is sponsored by Fieldwork Brewing Company. With 8 taproom locations in Northern California, Fieldwork brings you fresh craft beer direct from the source. Fieldwork will also ship beer direct to your door if you live in California. Visit fieldworkbrewing.com.
What's going on?
Trying to talk to their brewer about doing a beer collaboration for our event.
Really?
That would be fun, right?
I mean, how many beers and sandwiches and happy hour and appetizers are you going to have named after
If we could have a food at our event, like if we could collaborate on a food thing for the event, would it be chicken pie?
Well, the problem with the chicken pie is that it's summertime.
That's right.
And that's not really brewery food. That's more chicken pie shop in Walnut Creek.
There you go.
Don't add competition, my friend. I'm down. If you want to, we can start collaborating on a certain dish.
That'd be fun.
That we can. Do they have a full kitchen there?
They've got. I think they serve pizza, so they've got something. They've got some sort of kitchen.
Well, if you have a pizza oven, we could figure. We could figure out. Make a calzone or.
Yeah. I'm no cheese though, so we're gonna have to talk about this.
You go no cheese on pizza?
No, I'm no cheese in life.
Oh,
yeah.
Your reason? You have that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Meatballs it is.
Yeah,
right. We can figure that out. You can always figure that. You can always adapt. Hey, you know what they said? You ever watch that movie Moneyball?
Mm-hmm.
Adapt or die.
That's right. You know, I had a really interesting conversation about that. So I wrote this piece this week about the pitch clock and how it might be leading to the the most amount of starting pitcher and pitcher injuries in April that we've had.
We were kind of reading it and found out that was a bunch of
what
we were reading. That was from the Athletic, right?
Yeah.
Didn't you put it out?
Yeah.
Some people don't buy it, right?
I don't know. Have you heard that some people want to buy it?
Not your article, but people aren't buying that the pitch clock, like Stan Conti, former Giants.
Oh, obviously there are people who don't agree because
Yeah.
they did the pitch clock, and that I don't, as cynical as I am, I don't think they did the pitch clock knowing that there would be injuries. But
cynical as you are.
I would say that the work, and they also have numbers in the minor leagues. But here's my thing about the minor league numbers, and I think that they are not necessarily a good proving ground for this for the pitch clock. And here's why: minor league staffs are larger, minor leaguers don't throw as hard on average, and minor leaguers get more rest on average, and they don't have the same workloads on average. You know, the average minor leaguer in AA throws, like, the starters throw like 60 pitches.
And it's not their fault. That's
just how we develop pitchers.
Yeah, it's awful. It's awful.
That's
how we have a no-hitter going, and a guy gets 100 pitches last night, and everybody's like, oh, my God.
Yes, exactly.
It's a
They don't even get to the major leagues with 100 pitches in their bag. So, you know, what they're like, the average major leaguer, especially in like A-ball, if you're trying to compare A-ball injuries, an A-ball guy might throw 60 pitches and take 5-6 days off, you know, because they're piggybacking and giving them more rest and trying to, you know, try not to injure them. And so you're going to compare those guys to the guys throwing harder and throwing every 5 days and throwing back-to-back-to-backs. You know, I'm not sure it's like to like. I don't know if it's apples to apples. So a lot of people on the other end are saying we didn't see injuries in the minor leagues. And I'm like, yes. However, there's also just the theory behind this, which is time between pitches is rest. Less rest between pitches means fatigue. Fatigue means injury. It's a fairly simple plus math equation. And there were people that modeled this that showed fatigue goes up if you have less time between pitches. And fatigue has been proven to lead to injury. So there's a lot of proof on our side too. So I do know that there's other people that don't agree with it, but you know, I just finished talking to Trevor May, and he was talking about the sort of mental aspect of it. And you were talking about adjusting to stuff. And there's a whole mental aspect to this that we're only beginning to see the start of it. I think we saw some of it with Max Scherzer, and other people have talked about it. But Trevor was opened up a little bit, you know, because he took some time off for anxiety. And he said, yes, there's stuff going on in my life beyond baseball.
Correct.
But he said at least 30 to 40% of it was baseball that was giving him anxiety. And it was mostly the pitch clock. And he just didn't know. He said that in a normal plate appearance, the plate appearance builds gravitas and builds to a thing, right? And so he's like, oh, it's 2-0. I got to get a strike here. I'm going to take a breath. I'm going to take a deep breath. I'm going to walk around the mound. I'm going to there was like a natural sort of tension that built in every plate appearance. He says he has no sense of that anymore. It's just throw. And so just from his sense, he doesn't know what to do anymore. He said it's just being up there is like, I don't know when to do. I don't know how to pace myself. I don't know when to throw harder and when to, you know, like when to, you know, he doesn't know what to do. He can't even process the last pitch and what happened on it before he has to throw again. So he said that the sort of mental aspect for him has been very challenging, and I can't believe that he's alone.
You want to know how I really feel about it?
Yeah.
Because I feel bad for him.
Yeah.
I do. I mean, anxiety, depression, these things are very real. And in a game of failure, I get it. But every other professional athlete in every other sport deals with some type of time. So if this real small generation of players is having a hard time with the adjustment, it doesn't matter because the entire future of the game has played it. They'll grow up in it.
The young guys
and we'll never talk about this again. I mean,
it might be true.
The most popular game is football. You got to snap the football on time. This is how it works. And
the young guys, you ask them, they don't care.
They don't care. And by God, they were showing Bryce Harper at bats in the postseason to where Bryce Harper wants to take a pitch. He wants to step out, get back in, take a pitch, step out, Juan Soto. And we don't need that. We don't want to see that. And you know what? Boo-hoo. Get in the box and let's go. I understand, though, if it's really affecting you like it is certain players,
Well,
we can take a look at that. But long term, this won't be a problem.
My hope is that long-term pitchers do dial it back a little bit. And, Max Scherzer talked about in our piece about running. And so running has gone out of favor with pitchers. And it makes sense because pitching is more of a quick, fast exertion. It's not really like a thing where you're running 26 miles and you're like, kind of.
Well, there is endurance.
There's some endurance, but like it's not the same as running, But Max was saying for the pitch clock, you kind of have to build up that endurance, that sort of athletic endurance that's a little bit like long distance running. And so what I'm hoping.
That's why all those years, trust me, I was a college pitcher. We were like a track team.
Yeah.
You needed endurance to pitch. You just didn't get up there and I throw as hard as I can, and that's all I do. You had to have endurance. You got to throw. You got to eat innings.
I'm hoping that there's secondary effects to this. Like if we have an injury burst, I'm hoping that it's short term and that pitchers start to realize, okay, I need to dial it back, and I can't necessarily go full bore for every inning, and that maybe that leads to maybe. The marketplace is where it all gets decided, though. And I had this phrase that I said on Twitter the other day that it's just true. There's this phrase in basketball, board man gets paid. In baseball, gas man gets paid. So velo gets paid. And that's why they're throwing as hard as they can, because that's what gets paid in the marketplace. And so there's this sort of a car crash happening where it's like they're throwing this hard and they don't have as much time to rest between, and they're getting more injured, but they still get paid for the velo, so they're still going to do it.
And then here's the other car coming in that's smashed into them like in a snowstorm is innings.
Yeah.
Because all of a sudden, I'm not getting innings from my starters. I'm overworking my bullpen. And then it's funny to me when the manager, it reminds me of when the Raiders traded Khalil Mack, the best pass rusher in the game. And then 3 weeks later, John Gruden's at a press conference. They're saying, you can't get after the quarterback. He goes, well, it's tough to find a pass rush.
Yeah, you just had one.
What did he just say? So you don't know. Mason Miller had 100 pitches, and it was panic.
Yeah.
And it's still panic. People want to argue with me like, he's never pitched. I'm like 100 pitches, he was going to be carted off to the hospital. But then they complain that they have no bullpen guys. They're all hurt. They're all tired. They're not effective. It's like, well, somebody, I don't know who it is, but there's 13 guys on a staff. Somebody
has to pitch some innings.
Somebody's got it. What did we make? It's 4,301?
74.
There's 4,374 outs in a season, not counting extra innings. Did you know that?
No, but
4,300.
You got to get
somebody's got to get
those outs. But I think there is a little bit of statistical truth that borders on what you're saying, that is maybe rewarded a little bit in the marketplace. So think of Kyle Gibson and even the Cole Irvin trade with Baltimore. Baltimore has all these young guys coming up, right? They have all these young guys, Grayson Rodriguez, and these young guys coming up that they know are going to be good in short stints, but like Mason Miller may not be able to go past the fifth, right? So they know they have that. What they did was they tried to supplement it on the marketplace with guys that had command and multiple pitches that they thought could go deeper. And when I looked, I saw that command predicts number of innings per appearance more than stuff. So command is what helps a pitcher turn the lineup over. Command is what helps them throw more innings. Command helps them get through the fifth, through the sixth, through the seventh. And so you may have teams, there are some teams that realize that and want to supplement these like young fireballers with these like kind of older command types that can turn the lineup over a couple times.
Or maybe we just get more Shohei Ohtanis because we have a new Shohei Ohtani in Cody Clemens. He's pitched some back-to-back games.
There you go.
The son of the Rocket.
There's also the Giants first round pick that Reggie Crawford, who can throw 98 and hit the ball 110. So,
and the reason why I bring up Cody Clemens, he's pitching back-to-back games. Cody Clemens is not a pitcher, by the way.
Right.
Back-to-back games for the Phillies. We have now, in the first 34 days of the season, we've already used 25 position players.
Yeah. Well,
we're on a we were supposed to have new rules.
This is even with new rules.
Yeah, we're on a record pace for position players. People talk about integrity of the game.
Yeah.
Whoa.
I mean, that's what you're talking about. Is somebody has to get these outs.
Yeah.
And there's too many times when you have like a 2% chance of winning the game that you just feel like, I don't want to injure. I don't want to use anybody in my bullpen.
Here's Carlos Perez for the A's.
Yeah.
I mean, what, really? Is that? I mean,
Christian Betancourt was doing it a little bit when he was here.
he was legit, though.
Yeah, he could throw it hard. He had an arm.
I mean,
Yeah.
do you see that's a problem? 25 guys already, position players?
I mean, I think it's a problem when the guy's up there and he's throwing 70 from the side and he doesn't care, and there's 3 more bombs and it's a laughing stock. But do I think it's as much of a problem if we do start developing these two-way players? I don't know. That's kind of fun.
That
might be a fun.
The guy managing the team tonight, I played against Kotze in college. Kotza'd go 3 for 4, 4 for 5.
Then close the game, right?
And they come out throwing 96, 97 from center. Oh, and he probably hosed somebody during the game too. I mean, he's one of the greatest college baseball players
Jake
everywhere.
DeGrom was in college was a shortstop and the closer. I mean, it happens more in college, and so maybe we'll find some space to develop these guys. Jared Walsh, who was the first baseman for the Angels, came up as a pitcher in college too. So maybe we'll find some space to kind of let these guys develop so that you do have a guy on your squad that might keep you in the game, because there are games where it's 10-2 and you put a guy in and all of a sudden one of your guys hits a grand slam and another guy hits a 2-run homer and you're back in it.
You know who we never talk about if he didn't get hurt, and he probably could have been the A's first baseman of the future, turned World Series champion, all-star closer, Sean
Doolittle. There you go.
I mean, Sean Doolittle legitimately could have given you at-bats and innings.
Yeah. So maybe that would be a fun thing. I do think that the more that we see position players pitching, like we used to have Twitter guys that are like, oh, position player pitching. And it used to be like, oh, alert, everyone watch. And now everyone's like, no, I don't care. I don't want to see it.
It's disaster. You talk about car wreck. It's a car wreck.
Yeah.
When that's happening.
Now it just means the game's over.
When you think of J.J. Bleday, 4th overall pick in the draft, we had him on. I mean, it was a tough time to be drafted because COVID hits. You lose a year, essentially, of growth. I have to believe he was we interviewed him. He was at their alternate site, but you lose a year.
You're seeing the same pictures over and over, so it can't be like a normal year.
They paid him, what was it, I got it here. They paid him $6.7 million. Now they flipped him for a guy that went right after him, number 6, AJ Puk.
And he's their closer now, pretty much.
Think about J.J. Bleday. I mean, you're getting the 4th pick. I mean, obviously,
I'm excited to see him. I talked to him today, and he said something that I've heard from Cody Bellinger and Kyle Schwarber and some other guys that have kind of long swings that can create power, but are being exploited at the top of the zone and, have high strikeout rates. Bleday said, the cue for me is to sort of chop down on the ball, be quick to the ball. And, chopping wood is something that's gone out of favor because if you look at what a player does, it's not good for them to kind of chop wood. But for guys with long swings, if they think chop wood, they just get to plane faster. And it allows them to kind of shorten up some of this stuff in the back and get on plane faster. And I saw in his minor league stats a tremendous improvement in terms of his strikeout rate. And he basically admitted to me that he's covering the top of the zone better now.
Feels versus reels. You hear the great Tiger Woods talk about that.
Yeah.
It may feel, but even though what you think it's totally an exaggeration, doesn't mean it's an exaggeration. It's the right feel, but when you see it on video, it doesn't look as exaggerated.
It's just a little bit short of a swing.
You're
not chopping wood.
But it may feel like just this huge crate, but it's not.
Yeah. So, I mean, if Bleday is really going to be able to cut his strikeout rate to 20% in the major leagues, he has the power. I mean, it could be a real breakout for him. So I'm excited. I thought it was a good acquisition. This team needs more position players. They had a lot of starting pitching depth. I think they decided that Puk wasn't going to be a starter. I think it could still be a really good trade for them, even though Puk is closing for the Marlins and, looks as nasty as we remember him. I mean, we all knew that Puk was nasty. It was more about can he stay together for 5 innings and really be a starting pitcher.
But the value of finding an everyday guy.
Yeah. And I think Bleday, might be able to play center, and he can definitely play in the corners well. And if he really has cut his strikeout rate, this could be a big year for him.
My man over here is from Pittsburgh. He's living and dying with his Pirates. Everybody's been trying to say, enjoy it now. Are you officially here to crush his dreams in 2023? Or are you like, raise the Jolly Roger, they got a chance?
They have more guys coming. They have Henry Davis, great slugging catcher. They have Endy Rodriguez, who is this kind of catcher that can play second base. So they've got 2 catchers coming up that are really, really good. Luis Ortiz is this guy, started with stuff. He's not even in the major leagues yet. He could really dominate when he gets up there. And Jack Sawinski is breaking out. They've got a young center fielder that's breaking out. I mean, he's legit. All the stuff is there. He's one of these like Tools the Athletic guys that's just cutting the strikeout rate just a little bit. I think it's a real breakout. So I don't know. Maybe it's a year early, but this is definitely a team on the rise.
Derek Shelton, we had him on, and
I think he's a good guy.
He was just on MLB Network. There's something about, and you kind of saw it with the Maggi deal. There's like a special culture that he's building. We talked to him about down San Diego.
Yeah, well, I'm hoping the Maggi send down the AA now isn't going to ruin the momentum the team has going.
Well,
plus another guy.
He might not actually be that good. So.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. But it was a great story. I mean,
but
everyone
here he is already trying to find a way to have the Buccos fall apart. Come on, enjoy it.
I'm from Pittsburgh. We're very cynical.
Yeah, that's right.
Quinn Priester's another guy too that they really like.
That's right. Yeah.
And then they have, by the way, they have the first pick in the draft this year. Everyone keeps saying, well, how are they so good? They're not playing anybody. They have the first pick in the draft. They weren't supposed to be good.
Yeah.
And now they'll probably get the kid from LSU, Dylan Cruz, and they got more guys coming. As you said, I like what Sawinski's doing. Oh, and their best young player has a fractured ankle and he's not coming back.
I know they haven't even seen O'Neal Cruz yet, so I think there's some good stuff going on there.
The Giannis of baseball.
Yeah, hit 212. Yeah, he throws the ball really hard at first. Who cares?
He's an athlete, man.
The Rays, by the way, great discussion I heard just talking about, we're beyond it's an easy schedule. They're leading the world in everything, right? They're leading but the thing that you look about the Rays, which is not, you don't want to be in their marketing department because they're not a marketing department dream, but they have made some of the most ruthless baseball decisions. They have never kept anyone.
They, even in their minor leagues, they traded away their top prospect, their top pitching prospect, Matt Liberatore, for Randy Rosarena. They traded away Blake Snell in the middle of a totally team affordable deal for, Blake Snell call him. Did you hear that? The slap D prospect.
Oh, did he really?
Yeah. He was pretty mad that he
Tell
got
Blake
traded
Snell
up
to go
there.
4 innings. Call me.
Was that CJ Edwards? I think they traded for
Xavier Edwards.
Xavier Edwards, yeah.
Xavier Edwards. And it doesn't matter that one didn't work out. They just traded Xavier Edwards a year later. So they just keep going. One of the things that they really do almost better than anyone, I think, is manage their whole, not only their 25-man roster, 26-man roster, their 40-man roster, their top 100 guys. They know all of their guys that are 2 years away from having to be put on the 40-man, and they will move guys ahead of that date so that they never get stuck in a box.
But we want to buy jerseys. we want to have a guy that is here for 20 years, and we want to put a statue out front.
Well, that happens in Oakland, too.
And that's what fans want. Do you know how many times I've taken phone calls? I can't buy a jersey. And it's
yes, that happens in Oakland.
The Rays.
I wonder if it has something effect on the postseason, too, because you wonder how, a lot of these sort of postseason, I call them puff pieces. I'm not being rude. I just mean we get these inside the team that won it all pieces, and so often they're the players that came up together in the minor leagues and won together in the minor leagues and know each other. And
we just had that in Oakland, yeah.
Right? That's when it's great in Oakland. But also the Royals, when they went all the way, all those guys had been together forever.
But that's how the Dodgers were built way back when. The Oriole way in Baltimore way back when. That's how organizations like the same infields. And
sometimes you pay a guy too much on the end, and you're holding on to Aubrey Huff. The year after
my old radio partner. That was a treat.
So that's happening in San Francisco, where sometimes they're holding on to guys a little bit too long, but that creates this idea of we're all in this together. We know each other. We have a good clubhouse culture. So there might be downfall to being that aggressive trading wise that shows up maybe in the postseason. I don't know you. Who are you? Like,
Yeah,
we've been hanging out since last year when you got traded here, and I know I'm traded out in a year, so rent don't buy.
but you love the puff piece. They've been together. They've won together. All right. When I grew up, the Yankees stunk. All right. They never went to the playoffs. Tom Manley went to the playoffs one time in his entire career at the Yankees. It was his last year.
Yeah.
I love hating on the Yankees, but my entire career, if you look at it, where I started getting going here in 96, 97, they've been in the playoffs. Is it time that I can really crap on the Yankees? They look terrible. They got so many guys hurt. They can't hit. Their outfield, even with Judge when it was healthy, the numbers were terrible. Can I bury the Yankees early?
Didn't they go through this last year too?
No, last year by June, they were supposed to be one of the most historic great teams of all time. They failed in the end.
All right. I mean, it doesn't look good, but they have had injuries, and if Rodon and Bader and Judge all come back from their injuries, that's a better team. So, I think they could have better days. And they're 16 and 15. It's not like they came. Look, a team I'd be more worried about is the Cardinals.
They're in trouble.
They're like 9 and 18, and their pitching staff is legitimately not good. Like they have a bunch of pitch to contact guys, and we just changed the shift rules. Like that's more worrisome. At least the Yankees are built to strike guys out and hit tremendous homers.
Last time I checked the standings, the St. Louis Cardinals are the furthest away from first place as almost us. Like we're the only team further away than they are.
I think they were 10 and 20 going into tonight, and the Pirates were 20 and 10.
When you look at last year at the top 10 teams, there are like 3 or so that fell out of that were kind of rabbits, and didn't make it to the end. If you look last year at the bottom 10 teams, there was only one team in the bottom 10 that made the playoffs in April. So bottom 10 of April that made the playoffs, and they were like, 10th, not like they weren't the very worst. They were like, I think it was like the Giants. The Giants made the postseason last year. I think they started in April 11th.
No, they finished 500 last year.
Phillies were maybe 11 and 13 in April.
They were like 19 and something and still made the playoffs.
Yeah, so if you're in the bottom 5, you don't traditionally make the playoffs even out of April because you're just that far behind. They have to play 27 games over 500 the rest of the way to win 90 games.
There's been 3 teams recently. It's the Nats who won the championship, the Braves who won the championship,
who had those kinds of runs.
Who had just brutal, they were 10 games under 500 at a certain point. And then now you had the Phillies last year. Sticking in New York, heard this today. The last time Scherzer and Verlander went in back-to-back games, which was about to come up, was 2014 against the Baltimore Orioles
as Tigers.
And the manager was Buck Showalter, who is now their manager.
That's a fun one.
I was like, huh, what? 2014. Now, obviously, we remember 2014 in the wild card game, but
it gives me no pleasure to report this. Max Scherzer's spin rates are down 100 to 200 RPM today.
Well, I was sweating, and all of a sudden I had this tacky stuff, and then I don't know, I washed it off, and there was alcohol, and I swore on his kids.
Yeah. Well, I'm fascinated to see what Verlander's spin rates look like too.
And then all of a sudden, I don't know. I mean, I got to tell you, I used rosin for many, many years. I never could stick the ball to my hand. And the ball, it never worked that
That's
way.
what I'm telling you. We need
David
a test
Cohn's Sunday Night Baseball thing was a fraud.
We need to
Did you see that?
We need to have a test like that where they put a wiffle ball on your fingers. If the wiffle ball does not fall off your fingers, you're out of the game.
Did you see David Cohn's Sunday Night Baseball thing?
Yeah.
And where all of a sudden now his ball is so sticky and like, come on.
What?
Just with sweat.
Oh, just with sweat. Yeah.
No, they're trying to.
But I don't know. I mean, what Scherzer was saying was he just used sweat and rosin and he worked it really hard. I mean, obviously he worked it really hard. And I'm seeing today, 100 RPM off the fastballs, 200 off the breaking balls.
So doesn't he still have sweat and doesn't he still have rosin?
Yeah.
I mean, they were saying it was so sticky in his glove.
Wasn't it the alcohol? They were talking about the alcohol, though? Like,
Then they brought
when he washed it off with alcohol, that was a part.
No one saw that. They said he went in and washed it or whatever, but it's like.
And that could have made it stickier because alcohol takes the water out. So
but why is it now all in his glove? That's not his right hand.
Yeah.
It's his left hand goes into his glove. Why is his glove so sticky?
There's a little bit of he said going on here.
But you're saying the spin rate. Now, is that game over?
Yeah, I believe it is.
So you're saying you checked the rates and already the spin rate's dramatically different from the last time we saw him at Dodger Stadium.
It's being DM'd around baseball right
so
now.
what do you say to that?
It is funky. It is. For me, it's right on the borderline. 150 RPM is about one standard deviation. Now, if somebody was down 200, it'd be really obvious they were cheating. That's
How about
more
this?
like two standard deviations,
Doctor-
200 and 300. So 100 is right on the border.
Part of your athletic crew, Dr. Meredith Wills, she brought me a sticky ball from AA.
And there, the carry is going through the roof. Strikeouts are through the roof. The hitters can't hit the ball out of the infield. It's been awful for offense.
And the ball is sticky. Like you could hear it. Like my skin was, if I put the baseball up here,
sticky.
you could hear my skin sticking to it.
So they missed the mark.
The sticky ball is sticky.
It's too sticky.
It's like you had a lollipop and then you spit all over it. Right? You know what I mean? That's how it felt.
Yeah.
Well, our time is come and gone. We got King Korak coming up next. What do you got?
I was going to tell you, Scherzer went 3 1/3, allowed 6 runs.
What do we do, man? Dan Plesac, who I love. He was a terrific closer back in the day. Dan Plesac said it, and he's on MLB Network now, and he just goes, we had a saying, don't go out there alone. Don't do it yourself. Meaning everybody had pine tar. I mean, what are we going to do about this?
Oh, no.
You're the sticky guy. It's all your fault.
And what if every game is 9-7? Is that what we wanted?
No. I like 2-1, 2 hours and 15 minutes, and we're out of here.
We got to get these things together
What
somehow.
do we do?
I think we give up on sticky stuff.
Spider tack for everyone?
Whatever. Just
seriously?
I kind of do, man. I don't like this. I don't like the
I saw I can't remember which reliever it was last night. They checked the reliever coming in from the bullpen last night.
Yeah.
He just stopped them and checked them. I mean, we're always
It was
checking
one of the
guys.
Mariners. I think it was like Trevor Gott. Maybe.
Yeah, we're always checking guys. And clearly they're not really catching guys. Are they catching guys?
We'll have to wait for this one umpire to do it again, I guess.
Now we catch them. We tell them to go wash it off and then come back. I mean,
that's what I'm saying. It's worse now because it's inconsistent. It's inconsistent. It's one umpire going crazy, going rogue, and then everybody else being like, I don't know. Is that sticky? I don't know. Hey, wash your hands. I don't know.
Let's end on this. You mentioned your kids' games. They're having trouble throwing strikes. Did you bring them the vat of spider tack? How we do? Are we throwing strikes? We got your kids throwing strikes?
Suggesting that I teach my kids to cheat.
Well, if anyone know how to do it, it's you. I mean,
oh my God, here we go, guys. I know the ball, and then they don't throw hard enough, so at least one of them will throw, and the ball doesn't go anywhere.
Hey, did anybody hear about this Saris kid? He's got sandpaper in his back pocket. Huh?
Oh my God! Watch out for the Saris kid. Sometimes the ball doesn't even leave in his hand; it's stuck on.
It's like a wiffle ball. This kid's ball's got more.
He's on the mound being like, God, it won't come off, Dad.
He's got more horizontal break than any pitcher we've ever seen. He's the sweeper of sweepers. All right, the Hall of Famer is here. Play is ending, would you please?
The Eno Saris Show is sponsored by Fieldwork Brewing Company. With 8 taproom locations in Northern California, Fieldwork brings you fresh craft beer direct from the source. Fieldwork will also ship beer direct to your door if you live in California. Visit fieldworkbrewing.com.
Ken Korak, please. The man who's the voice of your Oakland Athletics. He is a Bay Area radio Hall of Famer. The only Hall of Famer here at Oakland today, right?
I don't know about that.
Is there anybody else who's in the Hall of Fame? Oh, Amori P. Gonzalez is also a Bay Area radio Hall
I think
of Famer.
Omori, he might get the Frick Award someday too.
He's in 4. I asked him the other day. I said
he's in 4 Halls of Fame.
He's in 4. It's like my old head coach Sam Ferraro is now in 5 Hall of Fames.
Is he really?
Well, he went into the San Jose Hall of Fame. That was a big deal.
Lawrence Fan is going in the San Jose State Athletic Hall of Fame on Saturday.
He
The
should.
longtime SID before the Spartan spring football game. He's going in.
He's a special
at
man.
2:00 on Saturday. Yeah. Well, he was responsible for all the publicity that you got when you were
Swear to
playing for the
God,
Spartans.
I hadn't played there in 30 years. I've been in the business, I've always known, but he still knows all of us. It didn't matter what team you
Yeah, I
played
know.
for. He knew what
Mhm.
high school you went to. He knew everything about you. He was he was incredible. So that's good news. 'Cause
We
he's
lost
definitely
him. We
missed.
lost him all too soon.
Yeah, no doubt
Yeah.
about it. How have you been?
I'm well, thank you. I'm well. I got beaten up pretty badly by my dermatologist today.
Ooh.
With a couple of like 10 or 12 zappings, but beside that, I'm fine.
I mean, it's reality. Last
It's
time I was
reality,
there,
yeah.
I mean, they're burning stuff
Oh,
out,
I
and
know,
it's just,
I know.
just have you know what? Because we grew
We're
up,
up
in a
on
lot
the
of,
beach.
a lot of
We
sun, my friend.
Grew up near the beach.
And then you
We
throw
did.
golf in there, and that didn't
Oh,
help
I know.
either.
No, it didn't. But I'm fine. You know, it's interesting because we were talking down on the field earlier about how you talked to Mark Kotze, and then even in his presser today, he was talking about how he spent a lot of time after the game before he even took his uniform off last night. And if people don't think that this hurts when you're 6-24, I mean, expectations were low for this club. And let's face it, we knew they weren't going to contend this year. But it's not easy. And these guys have to live with this every day. You know, we're out here and we call the games and we try to enjoy being at the ballpark. And we enjoy what we do. But they take it home with them. And it's not easy, man. It can be emotional. And last night was one of those nights, I think, for Kotz.
I personally wish I could let it go. As I told you, I luckily we had a quick game. I went home. I did the walk around the park that I live across the street from, and I was thinking about a lot of stuff. And you know, I'm going to take phone calls from people. I think about it. I have a hard time letting it go. I can't imagine what that. And Scott Emerson was here, and you can see it in his face. I mean, they're
you really can. They are. And I was talking to Emo today. We had him on the pregame show. You'll have that on your show today, and it's really insightful talking about Mason Miller. And I was trying to say, you know, I mean, I asked him, was it fun watching the kid pitch last night? Because it was a joy, I think, for all of us to think about watching him and what it might mean for the future of the club. But there was no joy in losing that game. So I think sometimes you have to choose your words, you know, carefully when you understand that it's not easy.
And it's hard to be excited. Team loses, and that's what we're here to do, win, not lose. But, you know, as a pitching coach, be able to go, man, Wallachuk's throwing the ball well lately.
Right.
Sears is getting better. Sears is a competitor, right? I mean,
right, yeah.
There's things that kind of hang your hat on that, but it is in the end still about winning.
But I think and I think you maybe after the game it hurts. Maybe you take it home with you. But I think this coaching staff and Kotze have done a good job, Townie. When they get to the ballpark the next day, you've got to let it go. Because you've got to be positive, especially with a young group like this. And I think they have. I think they come out every day and think, all right, today is the day. We're going to play a good ball game and hopefully win the game that day. And that's been their mantra. And so I think you have to show that kind of leadership and be positive, because if the staff gets down, now the players are going to get down. And that you just can't allow that to happen. And I don't think it has happened so far. I think Kotze has come out every day with a positive kind of, even in his dealings with us before the game. So you got to be that way.
How have you now settled into you're doing a different coach every single day? A chance for you. I mean, obviously you travel with them, you can have dinner with them, but to really get into their minds. I mean, Tommy Everidge, we've never, from my standpoint, I listen to all of them. I get to hear now more about Tommy and understand him more, to understand to understand him more. I know at first we get so used to always having the manager every day, but has it been for you to really understand what all the coaches are thinking?
Well, I think to answer that too, Townie, is that you want to interview people that are good interviews. That's right. Because if you're interviewing someone that doesn't give you a whole lot,
throw strikes.
Yeah, and they're blah or bland. They don't want to reveal anything. No, it doesn't do a whole lot of good.
Yeah.
Right. You're just filling time. But with Emo, he's incredibly good, and there are times when he's raw. I don't think I think he's honest, right? I think I don't think I think he has the ability to keep things in perspective, but also let you know how he's feeling and what he's doing to try to make his pitching, get his guys to understand the things he's trying to teach them. And so we had him on after the 17 walk game against the Mets. And then you played that. I think you played it later after the game on your show.
Yeah. Your guys' interview was
so
powerful.
It was raw and it was emotional.
Yeah.
And it was from the heart. And so when you get that opportunity with someone, you really cherish that. And I think today was a perfect time to have him on after Mason Miller's brilliant performance last night. And Tommy Everidge, of course, you know, he was a great story coming out of Sonoma State. It was kind of a long shot just to get to the big leagues. And so I've enjoyed it. I think it's been a little different for us because for years we always had the manager on every day, every game. So, and I think those guys, I mean, I know Tommy, usually it's a day game, third game of the series. Like tomorrow will be a day game with Tommy. And there's something kind of cool about coming out early before a game and sitting in the sun in the dugout before anybody comes out. Players normally, they don't take BP on the field. And those are it's kind of fun just to talk some baseball in the quiet of the ballpark on a morning before a game.
And you really get to see how hard, I mean, the effort everybody's putting in. They're putting in a lot of hours.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. No doubt. Yeah.
When you start thinking about JJ Bleday and knowing what a lot of people thought about him, are you excited to see him come up and knowing that
No doubt.
Maybe you got an everyday guy?
Well, they traded a pretty good pitcher to get him, and I know Eno was talking about him, and he was a highly regarded guy coming out of college, out of Vandy, and a high draft choice. There are people around the game who thought maybe the Marlins rushed him up there a little bit, and so he just needed to go down and play. The numbers, I think, show that he's ready to come up based on what he's done in AAA. Now, we don't go overboard over AAA numbers. We learn to kind of temper that. Keep it in perspective. But yeah, I mean, they gave up AJ Puck to get this kid. And the Marlins weren't the only ones that were going to draft him like at the very top of the draft. There were a lot of other clubs.
Every board he was at the top.
Every board he was at the top. So it's a little bit like a Brent Rooker. Now he's younger than Rooker and doesn't have the experience that Rooker's had in the big leagues, although Brent, his playing time was sporadic with the three teams that he was with. But almost those kind of credentials coming out of college, because Rooker won the Triple Crown in the SEC at Mississippi State. So, yeah, I'm really excited. I think this is all about what do you have? What are we going to see going forward? And I think the A's wouldn't have traded Puck if they didn't think that Bleday was an impact guy up here, and maybe his time is now.
And Rooker has earned everything he's getting.
Absolutely. Had a tough night last night. But a lot of people had tough nights last night. And he's been great. He is a legitimate middle-of-the-order hitter right now. Now, it's a long season. It's been 1 month. But I've been really impressed by what Rooker has done.
You want to know how tough last night was?
Yeah, one of only 3 debuts to have.
I'm going beyond that, my friend.
To strike out 10 and give up 2 hits or less.
There were 10 hitters last night in baseball with at least 3 strikeouts in a game. You had 75 players who had no hits with at least 4 at-bats in a game last night. For some reason,
last night
wasn't a whole lot of contact in Major League Baseball.
It was a tough night last night. This kid, the 2 Millers were incredible.
Miller time.
It was fun. I mean, I was thinking of the 8th inning that the A's, we were getting the record book out, and the last time the A's, well, they've only had 1 combined no-hitter in Oakland, which was in 75. So we're, kind of sifting through all the pages of the media guide to get that kind of stuff ready.
Do you really count a multiple pitcher no-hitter?
It's a no-hitter.
But do you in your...
Yeah, I do, but it's not, it doesn't carry the same emotion or drama.
You're not making
intensity.
You're not making a bobblehead with all 4 guys on it.
No, I'm not screaming and yelling like I have in the past. And the 3... I've been so lucky to call 3 no-hitters, right? We've been.
Yeah.
Vinny has been around been with us for all 3 of those too. So yeah, no, it's been great. And yeah, I thought maybe the combined was in the cards maybe last night.
And a light tower didn't go out either.
With fires. You're talking about fires
Yeah.
with the Reds in
Remember that?
19. Yeah, oh, I know.
Like we're sitting around
That
going, are
was
they
a-
going to get this game in? Of course, I'm having to dance up here going, are we playing or not?
The game didn't start till like 8:40 or
horrible.
something, right?
It was
Yeah.
absolutely horrible. I was just like
Yeah.
sitting there talking, and you're looking down. Renetti's talking to all the
I
Reds
know,
people and
I
our
know.
people, and luckily that game happened.
Then he throws a no-hitter.
because that was a special game.
Really was. It was. There's nothing not special about a no-hitter.
Well,
The three that we've been lucky enough to call, beginning with Dallas in 2010, all had their own stories that made them unique.
I've been here for all three.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you what. Maybe it
Yeah.
happens tonight.
Yeah, we'll see. Yeah, JP Sears. It's a little cool. It's good night to pitch.
Yeah, it's definitely not a good night to hit.
No, it's not. Nor was last night.
No.
You're trying to hit 97, 98 in the rain
And the
last night.
and the wind was whipping.
The Mariners, Miller had like the highest spin rate of any pitcher in baseball with his fastball last night. If you go back and watch the strikeouts, of several of those against A's hitters were up in here, high fastballs. So if you can, that's like a Mike Fiers kind of thing. Although he was throwing 10 miles an hour harder than Mike, but if you can get the spin rate and keep the ball in that plane up here, that's tough to hit, man. And it was tough for the A's hitters last night.
Little BP warming you up.
Yeah, ready to go, man.
You have the golden ticket. Anytime to come by, anything you want to get off your chest.
This is like a nice little. You kind of had to manufacture a little set here tonight, right? Little
It's kind of like
A's Cast set.
kind of like the Butler cabin, but not.
Hello, friends.
You have a good broadcast.
Thanks, buddy.
A's baseball coming up next, right here on A's Cast and the A's Radio Network.
With more sunshine returning, it's time to get outside and make the most of what Cinnabar Hills Golf Club has to offer, like 27 championship caliber holes tucked in the beautiful hills of San Jose. And take advantage of their amazing Bay Area views for your next special event. It's all for you at Cinnabar Hills Golf Club, an award-winning venue designed to